Right, so I predicted that that will happen, and that's what I wished even.
All right.
Because I believe Zimbabwe is going through change.
Okay.
But I don't believe in revolutions anymore. The price is too high. I think change is going to be granular. And what matters now is whether Emerson Mnangagwa, with the proper mandate of the people, is going to initiate the changes that are needed in Zimbabwe. So I think this is something that was predictable. And we have several candidates who are also good, but they do not have as much base as the ZANU-PF had.
All right. Now, just let me ask you one thing. Now, yes, African nations, different African nations have a multi-party system. But let's look at it this way. I grew up when President Yoweri Museveni is the president. He still is the president. And analysts do believe that even if he leaves power, someone from NRM is going to take over. Yeah?
Yes.
Look at South Africa. They've had Nelson Mandela, they had Thabo Mbeki, they had Jacob Zuma, now they have Cyril Ramaphosa, all of them from the same party. Today you're looking at Mugabe being ousted. The president coming through is ZANU-PF. So is multi-party system more of a dream than a reality?
Look at them, look at it this way. You call them political parties, but they're not really political parties.
What are they?
They're movements.
Okay.
By movement, I mean they're inclusive. You know, they don't identify themselves as in a classical term of a political party. They're not left, they're not right, they're not center. They're inclusive movements of social transformation. Whether they achieve that social transformation is another issue we can discuss later. Okay. But for now, they are groups that everyone can adhere to, that look at the country as a place where there are problems and to which they must bring solutions. So when people compare them to Western parties that are radically in one position or against another, they're missing some fundamental points about African politics, which is African politics is about cohesion. It's the most important value here. And therefore, when you look at these parties that you mentioned, NRM, ZANU-PF, RPF in Rwanda, ANC in South Africa.
Chama cha Mapinduzi.
Chama cha Mapinduzi. Yeah. They're not political. They're not Western political parties. Okay. It is not liberal democracy. It's a movement. Some countries don't have them, unfortunately. Like Kenya doesn't have them. Like DRC doesn't have these movements that are entrenched, movements that brought the liberation and that remained in power and were entrenched. They were able, if you look at these movements closely, you find that they're dynamic. You can actually affect change from within.
Gatete, let me jump back to the elections. Now, we did see them being peaceful and they were carried out in an orderly manner, but slightly after that, there has been so many riots in front of the Electoral Commission. Do we expect this to get worse?
I will never say that. I will never say I expect it to get worse.
People are burning tires in the middle of the road.
So one thing that I did not like about these elections is the interview of Robert Mugabe just before. The old man is retired. He's no longer relevant to the political situation in Zimbabwe, as far as I'm concerned. So it was not necessary. Also did not appreciate the head of the opposition, the contender, declaring victory before the results were out. He has no right to do so. And these are the kind of things that incite the public to riot.
We do have a few seconds to go, so allow me to ask you my next one. It does have to do with economic and political revival. What are we looking at?
You see, that's the problem with elections that are contested. In Africa, in some countries, unfortunately, where politics is very virulent, politics is supposed to be conducive for the business environment. But in Africa, politics become a hindrance to the economic growth of the country. You'll see in many countries, like in Ghana, in Kenya, in many of these countries, there's an economic growth, and then there's a recess every time there's elections, and then it picks up, and then every time there's an election, there's a recess. So basically, these elections, there's something going wrong with this model that we have. Because if it's a model that is going, politics is supposed to create a good environment for business to happen. But every time when politics is actually happening as an hindrance to economic growth and to stability of the country, there's something that we're getting wrong. that's what we have to study and fix.
All right. What do you think President Emmerson Mnangagwa, what do you think Zimbabwe should focus on at this particular moment? More on the political side or more on reviving the economy of the country?
It goes without saying that what matters is reviving the economics. But indeed, politics is going to have an impact on it. But remember, Emmerson Mnangagwa did not have the mandate of the people. He came to power through an arrangement within the ZANU-PF. He was really just a member of the ZANU-PF stepping in to control, to expedite current affairs while the old man was no longer active. Now he's going to have a mandate. He's going to be empowered by the mandate of the people. So then he knows exactly what kind of reforms he must conduct. For instance, you could see even already now he invited observers and journalists and all sorts of people that could not be invited in the past.
So that you could see it